100.5, 1450, WGNSSports.com, and BigGTV.
Back here on the Coaches Show to talk some Smyrna football, as the Coaches Show is brought to you in part by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Alex Williams, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Matt Williams, the head coach of the Smyrna Bulldogs, joins us this morning. And, Coach, there's no better place to be on a Friday night than at Smyrna High School, and we certainly enjoyed our time there to broadcast last night's game. And Rockvale, Smyrna, I guess the first time is that the first time the two teams have played each other?
No, we played for the last number of years. Yeah, we played each other probably for the last 6 years or so, I guess.
Well, it is the first time as a region game, though.
Yeah, it is first time as a region game, but a good atmosphere last night, and I thought the crowd was, really, really good and loud, and the Light Rockville brought a lot of people, so, good night all around.
Nothing against the old region, but I did say in the broadcast, and maybe I shouldn't, but I said, Smyrna, you're probably glad this isn't Cane Ridge in a region game, that Rockville is here, because look at the crowd here. I mean, the place was packed.
Yeah, I mean, it brings together more, natural county rivals and rivalries. And, I was one of the things I was excited about when I announced that. I knew we were going to be able, because we played a lot of those guys. We played Siegel, Riverdale, Rockville regularly the last number of years, Riverdale for a lot of years, Siegel the same thing. So, it's not been that big of an adjustment for us as far as that was concerned. But definitely going to help the gates and the crowds, and that's good for your kids, your players, your student body, your band, everybody, and this creates a better atmosphere, and we enjoy that.
So, you and I have both seen a lot of football over the years. I'm not sure that I've seen some things that I saw last night in that game. I mean, you guys are down 2:22 to play. You're down 3-0, and then you blink, and 2 minutes and 22 seconds later on the clock, you're up 21-3. That was an interesting series. Have you ever been part of something like that kind of turnaround?
I'm sure I have, but I can't think come to mind real quick. But we were, defensively, I thought early on we were excellent. They drove the ball and threatened us some, and we were able to get them to miss a field goal the first time they tried one there, and they hit a field goal to go up 3-0. But I thought we really did a good job on defense, keeping them out of the end zone, and then we get down there and have an opportunity to score and mess up the snap, which still don't quite understand what happened there. But mess up the snap, was very disappointed, and get on defense the very next play, and they turn the ball over. So we get the ball in the end zone there and go up. But then, like you say, you have a barrage there where they try a field goal right before half. I think it was 14-3 at the time, I'm not mistaken. And, they try a long field goal, and Jerry Martin was just a man last night. He blocked 2 field goals last night. He blocked both of them. But the one, Corey Weathers, Corey had a big night. He returned it, had an interception return for a touchdown, and that field goal block return for a touchdown. And one was like 53-yard return, the other one 40. But just a big play there that put us at 21-3 at half. A lot of momentum shifts there, but I was proud of our kids for how they stayed resilient. We struggled offensively early. But I felt like once we got a rhythm, I thought we played much better. I thought our offensive line did a good job. And, Zeke Key, I think, was 13-20 for 183 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he did some good things as well.
When your defense can score, when you can score in all 3 phases of the game, it's really big. But to me, there's just something about, a blocked field goal and scoring on that, or an interception return for a touchdown. Those things really ignite the whole football team. I mean, it makes the offense play better, but when your defense and special teams can score, I don't know this for a fact, but they probably those two of the 3 parts of a football team probably had half of the scoring or close to it last night.
Yeah, we had 14 points, there on swing, over the interception and that, but yeah, I think it's plays that people sometimes take for granted. You have field goal tries, PAT tries all the time, and you don't think much of it. You have punts all the time, and when one gets blocked or something, you get a big return for a touchdown. It's sort of a little bit of a jolt and a shot in the arm, and definitely, obviously, I felt like we put together our most complete game in all 3 phases. We've struggled at times on offense, and Defensively, we've been pretty good. It's just we've had a penchant for giving up a big play here or there. And I thought last night we did much better at that, obviously. And just proud of our kids how they played. And I thought up front on defense, Jerry Martin was a terror last night, and Anthony Staples did a good job. And I thought Brody Hines did some good things. And you had Score there, had interception, but you also had some of our other guys that were playing with Vincent Morgan. I thought played well at safety last night. And a lot of kids showing up, and just proud of how they played. And we were 1-3 coming in there, and had a very disappointing loss to Siegel last week, where we had a chance late to tie that ball game up and didn't, and got beat. And so for our kids to come back and work like they did this week, I was really proud of them.
Matt Williams, our guest here on the Coach's Show, talking Smyrna football. One more thing about your defense last night. If the defense didn't score, or score off that special teams play, your defense that forced turnovers gave the ball back to your offense in really good positions last night as well on a couple of your touchdowns. So, it's important to have a good defense, and I know you believe in that.
Oh, yeah. We've always, that's always been sort of a thing with us, and we've tried to stress physicality and relentless defense. Coach Villarreal, our defensive staff do a great job. And we've got a really, really experienced defensive staff that does a really good job. And, we sort of made a flip in the spring. We were a 4-2-5 team, which is sort of what I've always run for the most part. And we just saw some things personnel-wise that we were concerned with, so we switched to a 3-4 defense. And I think the staff's done a really good job being able to do that. And, just proud of how they've done that. And, you had kids like Ryland German last night who came in and caused, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first turnover there. Right after we turned it over, he punched the ball out down there when they were backed up and got us the ball back where we could score there. So, you got kids all over the place trying to create turnovers and create big plays and take the football away from the offense. So that was good to see last night. And I thought offensively, like I said, I thought we got a lot better. I thought Will McKnight, our center, played really well. I'm in here grading film right now. I thought he played well. And getting our tailback, Christian Beatty, back, he's not played since week 1. That was good for us as well.
I was going to mention Beatty. He had over 60 yards last night, but I mean, when you needed a hard yard or two, if you just sit back pass all night, what's the defense going to do? So I mean, he really kind of came in and gave you that off balance look to just not have Rockville sit back and wait on you.
Yeah, I mean they present some problems defensively. They're odd, sort of odd look. It's 3-3 stackish, but not really. It's sort of Iowa State 3 safety look. And I thought our offensive line handled that really well because they give a lot of exotic looks. And I thought we did a good job getting the hat on the hat all night. And thought Mark Williams, offensive coordinator, did a really good job with some run scheme stuff that he came up with. And offensive staff did a really good job there. But yeah, I think Beatty added a little bit of a spark to us. And they've got Rockville's got some good players. Their number 8 on D-line is about as good as you'll see around the area, and number 9, both of those kids are really, really good. Offensively, they got some kids. I know they had some kids move in from Webb School or somewhere. I think, don't quote me, I don't know, I may be wrong. Number 3, maybe one of them, but he is a player. I mean, absolutely, that wide receiver, he's a stud.
Yeah.
So, we bent but didn't break, thank goodness, because he had a big night, and their quarterback made some really good throws to him. So hats off to them for some of those plays they made. But, yeah, he's a special player. So I was proud of our secondary. We made some adjustments in the secondary, second half, I think, to help us with that.
Zeke Key last night, in the last 2 weeks, Coach, he's thrown for 180 yards. So, I mean, yeah. That's pretty special. Welcome back.
He's doing a good job, and we had a deal in the preseason where, and they don't mind me saying I tested them, but I don't think anybody really wanted to take the quarterback position. And we started out, and I think Zeke is sort of figured some things out as far as work ethic, as far as body language and demeanor and all that stuff. And I think confidence-wise, he's growing. I think that was a problem for him as well. That's hard. Being a young quarterback, it's hard gaining those things. And I think he's really given us a shot in the arm. I thought he played well last week in the loss, made some good throws. We had 2 interceptions last week, but like I said, last week, only one I felt like was on him. The other one was a batted ball off the receiver's chest. So, last time I thought he was really good protecting the football. Didn't have any just, careless throws. And just proud of how Zeke played last night. He had some early setbacks, and I thought he fought back from those beautifully.
And he's overcome some adversity, things of that nature, to get to this role in the last 2 weeks. I mean, you've seen him kind of blossom right in front of your eyes, and that's really good for Smyrna football, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it starts at quarterback, and he's got. We knew the talent-wise, the arm talent things. We knew that was there. That wasn't the issue, and he's fixed a lot of the other intangible things that we needed him to, and. I think we've settled in and found a guy, and that's exciting because when you don't have a guy and you don't know who the guy is, it's very concerning for a football offense. But Zeke's done a good job coming in, and I think receiver Scoreweather's had some big catches for us last night. Yanni Morales, also had some big plays, and was proud of Yanni. He did some good things for us last night, and there were times we were backed up on the chains, and he made big plays, so that was good to see.
I guess around 90 yards on 4 catches for him last night. It's unbelievable to think that we're at this midway point in the season, and just to kind of underscore the importance of that game for you guys last night. 0-2 in the region going into that game. It was almost a must-win, and we talked about that on our short car ride together, me and John and Rod last night, that as good of a team and experienced coach and all backed up against the wall, needing a win, it was going to be a fight. And you needed that one last night, and your kids came through. Yeah,
they're all playoff games, and we said that, we said it to our kids, and, that started really after Siegel, obviously. We knew they were all playoff games. And the thing is, we've got a lot of really good teams in this region, and, we're only going to be worried about the next one, which is Coffee County. But we know it's going to be a battle every week in this region. Good coaches, good players, and good programs. And, I think our kids are taking that to heart. And our kids, we've got a bunch of kids that work hard. And I knew, I tell you, everybody kept asking me how good we were going to be. And I said, well, I'm being honest, don't know yet. I said, we've got a group that's about to learn on the run and that haven't played a lot of football on Friday night because offensively, I think we returned 3 kids, only one starter on the offensive line, and a receiver or two that played. They weren't necessarily starters, though. If you got down to it, we had 1 or 2 starters coming back. So I knew it was going to be a growth thing on offense, and that's what's happened. But we got 33 juniors and a group of seniors that are determined, and those juniors, a lot of them are just taking Friday night experience to get them, comfortable. But I think it's something we're going to keep getting better. And I heard a quote the other night that I really agreed with. I think it was Mac Brown talking on the podcast, talking about, the difference between sometimes it's not necessarily learning how to win, it's learning how not to lose. And sometimes you got to do those little things to not lose the game. And early on, some of the games we've lost, we've had a key penalty or a key, mistake in key situations that have just really hurt us. So I think our kids are getting better at that week by week, and it's been exciting to see. Well, let's turn the page to next week, and you've got Coffee County coming in. I know it's homecoming. Coffee County, and I think they lost last night, but last week they had a 1-point win over Franklin. They're in a tough region themselves. Coffee County deserves some respect. Yeah, they do. I mean, the record's the same as ours, and they're in a really good quality region in the Williams County region, and they're not going to be intimidated by us. Before that, they were in the Rutherford County region. So it's this is going to be a normal deal for them, and they're not going to come to Smyrna and be big-eyed. They're not going to, they were at Independence this past week and, have gone a lot of big places. And so they're going to be comfortable. They're going to have a good football team. And I've watched them a little bit. They're big up front on defense and do a good job. And, 3-4 defense. Offense, we got a quarterback that can really spin it and a good player. So anytime you have those two things, you got an opponent that's going to be a problem. And, we're going to have to be really well prepared. And, the biggest thing for us is we got to, I talk to our kids. You can divide to me a high school football season into 3 parts, and you look back and say how you did the first 5. Well, our first 5 were 2 and 3, and you are what your record is. So we've got to own that and learn from it and work from there and make our corrections. And the story will be told largely on the second 5 how we are going into the playoffs. And so we've got to do a great job, and you can't have any letdowns. We've got some momentum here. We've sort of been consistent. We start off with a 1-point loss to Brentwood, then you win at Hendersonville. Then you get blown out by Oakland, and then you lose a heartbreaker to Siegel. And now last night had a big win. So we've got to keep that momentum going. Well, good luck in all of that next week and homecoming. And I know that
Smyrna always does it upright. I tell you what, fine, perfect night for football last night. We really had a good time. Jeff Shipley takes care of us, Dr. Sutherland, and you really got a great place to be. I guess that's why you've been there so long, right?
Yeah, I've had people have been blessed to have good leaders. Mr. Rakes believed in me, and Rick Powell got to hug his neck last night.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dr. Sutherland does a great job, and I've been blessed to have good leadership, and they've stuck. It's hard to find loyal people who understand the rigors of high school football and run the football program, and we've had our ups and we've had our downs, but I've been lucky to work with understanding people who are just good quality people, good human beings.
Well, you're one of those, Matt. Appreciate you joining us this morning, and good luck against the Red Raiders next Friday.
All right, Brian, I appreciate it.
Thanks, sir. That is Matt Williams joining us, the head coach of the Smyrna Bulldogs, on the Coaches Show, brought to you by the law offices of John Day. They've helped thousands of people get legal help when they've needed it the most. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day.
Genesee.
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big